So I'd like to introduce Mounir, who has over 20 years experience supporting mega transformation with extensive knowledge in driving large transformations across EMEA. Mounir is a researcher in digital technology and is a faculty member of the University of Antwerp in Belgium. He holds an MBA from the University of Manchester, a master's in software engineering, and a bachelor's in information technologies. Mounir, over to you.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Greg. And thank you, everyone, for all the insights that has been shared so far. And thank you, Greg, for the flexibility. So the session today from Oracle will have the title From the New to the Next Normal, How to Master the Change. So we'll just see some of the factors that characterize the big change, of course, of the COVID that, impose a new normal for all of us, and then how we are going to transform into the next normal. And of course, some of the initiatives that we as Oracle, we do to support our customers in that regard. So first of all, I believe many things have been changed for all of us. Of course, the way we shop, the way we entertain ourselves, the way we spend our time with family, and the way we access services, products, the way we consume, the way we access healthcare, the way we use technology, the way we socialize, and the way we travel, actually. So currently, as I told before, so currently I'm in Burundi, and I had my session scheduled earlier, but at that specific time, there was someone who were here in the hotel to take my PCR test for my travel back tomorrow. So you can imagine, so everything has been changed, even the way we are interacting with each other now. So I was, obliged to, withdraw from the event. And then, of course, thanks to Greg and the flexibility. So here I'm back to discuss with you. So everything really has been changed. The way we live, the way we interact with each other, the way we socialize, and all of these changes, we really need to I put a focus on three things here. With the way that this has been changed with the COVID-19. Of course, social distancing, it changed from something that was irrelevant, especially for our culture as Arabs. So I believe we all enjoy hanging around, having some shisha, having some some drinks with friends, with family. So social distancing was really, for us in Jordan, or for all the Arab culture, it was just something that is not relevant. And now it's, it transformed from something that is totally irrelevant to something that is very critical. Remote working, it was optional. If I want to say, maybe also not relevant, because we enjoyed being in the office, meeting with our customers, with our colleagues. So this was something that was, enjoyable, and currently it's becoming critical. And something that I added here is the digital immune system. So the way we protect our systems. So that was essential before, and now it's becoming critical. Now, in order to see how this will become for the next normal. So hopefully soon we will go through all of the crisis of the COVID-19. I mean, with all what we have experienced, I've recently been in Morocco, my home country, and I've been affected with COVID with all my family. So unfortunately, I lived that experience with all my family. So I know all the suffering that, all the people who has been affected. So I experienced all of that myself. But we really believe that once all of this is over, lots of things will stay here. Social distancing will stay for a while. Of course, it's going to become optional, but it will still stay. Remote working, it will be an advantage for companies. So many companies have experienced the advantage of getting their people work from home. If I talk about my company, I believe, myself and all my colleagues, we have become more productive by working from home, which was something that was not expected from our management. And I believe this is something that is quite general. So in fact, when people work from home, they are more productive. So they work more hours, they are more focused. Of course, with all the distraction of children and wives, etc. But we are still focusing on what we do. And then, of course, the digital immune system, it was essential and it's still essential. I really want here to start from this quote from His Excellency Mr. Ahmed Ananda, who is the Jordan's Minister of Digital Economy and Entrepreneurship, who mentions simplicity as the name of the game, whether for the next normal, for the new normal, or for the next normal. And this is so true, because with simplicity, when we look at the social distancing, and of course reducing contact trace by by adopting some of the measures, how this will impact and how this will push us to rethink the way we do business. So we need to rethink the way we interact with our customers. So all the touch points that are relevant for customers, touch points that are relevant for suppliers, touch point of employees, and the way we monitor and ensure compliance. So all of these aspects are to be considered for social distancing. And then remote working, making it more efficient and a positive experience. So as we are all connected now, so I believe in the morning we were 268 attendee. We are currently at around 150. All of us are connected remotely, so we are sharing insight, we are sharing experiences, references, and we are enjoying it. So making it like an enjoyable experience working remotely, it's really important. And this cannot be done without equipping employees, without enabling employees with trainings, with support, whatever it's necessary, and of course with guidance and all the technology behind that to support. And then what I call digital immune system, because what does it mean that we are more working online? It means that our systems are becoming more vulnerable. So we are generating more data. We are and systems are being more vulnerable. So we really need to take care of that, especially when it comes to data. In relation to data, there has been some statistics that says 84% of vulnerability of systems, it really doesn't come from outside the organization. It's coming from inside the organization. So making sure that all of even the employees who are connected for their work remotely, they just have access to just enough data. Okay, so whatever there is something that is not necessarily, so it's really at a need basis, which means it brings us to, building an immune system that starts from the core inside of the organization, going outside of the organization. And the way we treat this as Oracle is, what we pitch to our partners and customers is, with maybe 5% or 10% of the security budget, you can really cover more than 84% of your security breaches. And we do that from inside out, which means starting from where the data is stored, and then we secure that we put what we call the maximum security. So many layers of protection, many layers of defense to protect the data inside the organization. And then, of course, by doing that, we are protecting inside and outside. And of course, there are other layers of security that requires attention as well. Now, the big question is how to execute in an actionable and pragmatic way. Of course, as Oracle, we have so many initiatives. So we support startups, we support universities, we support education, we support communities globally. Of course, lots of documentation is out there. But what I wanted to mention today, and this leads me also to a reference that I mentioned before, some of the innovation that we have done with Ajib in Jordan, the first blockchain implementation in Middle East and Africa. And I'm going to mention here the way we have driven this. However, it's really important to understand that really baby steps count. Small steps are going to lead to a big result. And here I mention what I call the belief cycle. The transformation really needs to go through the belief cycle, which means we have been discussing all the morning, and I believe during all the event, we are discussing about the potential, which means we all see the potential. There is big potential when we talk about digital transformation. There's potential for the economy, there's potential for businesses, there is potential for organizations, for citizens, for customers, for everyone. However, we need to start with something, just start with something. And that is the belief. So, you know, if we look at the belief cycle here, so on the top left corner, we start with the belief. So I believe on a potential, and then I see the potential, and then I put an action. And that action can really be a very small improvement. That could be maybe just moving from, putting my data in an Excel file to a database, okay, or maybe just acquire an ERP or an application, or just a small, improvement. And once I have that action done, I will get result. That will be a small result. However, that small result will give me more belief. So I will believe more in the potential. And then we go throughout the circle. Okay, so the transformation needs to go through this same approach. And then, of course, the way we take it as Oracle, of course, starting from a corporate and business strategy. So corporate is, of course, the strategy for growth, and the business strategy is the strategy to sell. And so every organization has a strategy. And in order to deliver that strategy, we need business models. And that is, orchestrating the ecosystem. And then if we want to deliver business models, execute them, then we need business processes, and those are operations. And then if we need to automate business processes, then we need technology. Okay, and to be honest, in this model, technology is my latest concern. Technology is here. It is available. We have a lot of options. My concern is how we drive the transformation.
Sorry, you're muted, Mounir. I'm not sure what happened there. There you go.
Am I audible now?
Yes, you are. Sorry about that.
Okay, sorry. How long have was I on mute?
Probably about 10 seconds.
Okay, that's fine. So maybe, so I got the chance to explain until here.
Yeah.
So what I was saying is technology is my latest concern. I really don't bother about technology because technology is here, it's available. There's a variety of choices. My concern is how to align from the strategy through the business models, through the business processes, through down to the technology, how we are going to align all of those and make people believe in whatever we are trying to do. And here I really want to mention the Ajib case because it is a great case actually. So what we have done, we connected with, of course, with Mr. Ayman Kadoumi, the CIO of Ajib, and his team. And we went through many discussions about what different improvement we can do, okay? And then, of course, we went to discuss with different lines of business, finance department, marketing department, operations department. So we discussed with many people. And then we spotted that maybe there is something that we can improve here. And that was related to the high cost of international transaction and the time it takes making a miserable experience for one of the customers who just wants to send money internationally. And that was the piece that we spotted, and we discussed it at the strategic level, and then down to the business model, down to the business processes. We adopted the business processes, and then of course we spotted blockchain as a technology to support that. And guess what? When we wanted to implement it, there was regulation that it stopped any financial institutions to go to the cloud because of the data sovereignty, because blockchain, it happens in the cloud. So what we have done, we have onboarded the regulation with us. So we have discussed with the regulation. There has been a lot of sessions that has been organized by the bank. And then of course, we have written a letter asking for exception to regulation. And guess what? After 2 months, we got an exception. And that was really, really good. And to be honest, I was surprised and I was impressed. Because what happened then is that request for to do this implementation, it opened door for all the financial services in Jordan to do cloud business. And that was a game changer. And I believe this is what we need to do. And if we go back to the belief cycle, this is exactly what we have done. We spotted the potential, we put some actions, and then we went through some rounds, and it happened. Now, the way we do it in a pragmatic way as Oracle, and we do it as quickly as possible, is, of course, we try to analyze what is the as is, which means where are we now? And then we try to identify the to be, where do we want to get? And then we identify the gaps that needs to be considered. And then we put an architecture and a roadmap. And this is exactly what we have done with Ajib, and we've got very good results, actually. Of course, just to go back to this approach, if anyone in the audience is interested to go through this approach, I will leave the contact of our territory managers in Jordan. So feel free to contact with them, and of course we can go through the same approach, and I will be personally more than happy to support that. Now, His Excellence, he mentioned how important is time. It is a race. It is a race. It is a race among nations. It is a race, a business race and economic race, especially when it comes to preparing businesses to recover from the COVID-19. So lots of businesses, they lost revenue. Lots of businesses, they lost their compass, actually. And we need to help them. We need to support them get back to the race and recover from the COVID-19. Of course, as Oracle, we have a variety of solutions to support that and to support any transformation. We are proudly covering all needs when it comes to digital innovation, starting from the applications to the data management, to the analytics, to the infrastructure, to the way we support developers and governance and security, to the way of hosting technology, whether it's on-premise, hybrid, or in the cloud. So just to spot here some of the building blocks that we support, the most important in all of that is data is in the core. We really need to take care of data. Something that is really important, like wherever I discuss with any of our enterprise customers, is what do we really need to do with data? Do I need just to store that data and maybe get it back wherever I need? Is this what I really need? The question for enterprises, of course, is no. This is not what we need. We need to drive. We need to have data driving business, driving performance, driving improvement, driving growth, driving optimization. And in order for us to do that, we need to take care of data, make sure that data is of highest quality, make sure that data is highly available all the time, make sure that data is secure, and then make sure that we are getting the good insight from that data, whether it's a structured data or it's an unstructured data as a big data. And in order for us to do that, of course, we need to take it from the application, how the different applications are connected, and how this is impacting the quality of data in terms of redundancy, in terms of corruption of data. And then, of course, with all the pieces, bringing all the data into one data warehouse and then plug in analytics to support decision making and policy making. And last but not least, how all of this is going to be hosted on a secure infrastructure and a reliable infrastructure. So those are the contacts of our territory managers, Mr. Rashid Al-Masaura, Mr. Malik Al-Malabih, Mr. Jihad Al-Qawasma. So feel free to connect one of them. They will be more than happy to support. Myself, I will be more than happy to support. Wherever there is a need of transformation, we can take it from there. We can discuss based on the best practices, and we can see what we can really do for your enablement. Thank you very much, Greg. I hand over to you.